Yeah.
They don't know I'm woke, I guess they really think I'm ignorant. That's why I still with them. I make the best, trying to put a wall between us. Culture vulture, die had eating samosa. Too brown for the label, too privileged for the culture.
Pooja! What's up, Zubi?
Country for old men, I don't fit neither culture. Trying to rep my people, but they say I'm not their leader. And all right up in the bleachers.
What's up, everybody joining? I can't really, I don't know what's going on, but I'm really excited. Should we get started, Zubi?
What you afraid of? Hey, 'cause I let you tell me apart.
Let's get started, yeah.
Show you what I am made of. This is what you're afraid of. Hey,
Yo! How is everyone? I'm Pooja Reddy.
I'm Zubi Ahmed.
And we are Kutti Gang.
Welcome to the show. This is Kutti Gang from Mahfuzul for 24. So it's a fundraiser, and we are in support of Mahfuzul. Really excited for this. Pooja, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on today?
Yeah, for sure. So Mahfuzul's team reached out to us. Zubi and I run a comedy show called Kutti Gang, and we are a comedy showcase where we highlight women, queer, non-binary, trans, South Asian comedians in the New York City area. We've also been on the road too. But while we've all been staying at home and staying safe, we've been trying to raise our voices and get involved online. So this is why we're here.
Yes. So I know that we're probably asking, like, if you've seen the lineup today, why is it not all South Asian? We thought, like, it's a virtual show. Let's mix things up. Times are different. We don't know what's going on. And we have a lot of funny friends. And we just wanted to...
Yeah, who support Queens. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have comics who are Queens natives. We have comics who've lived in Queens. So, we just want them to represent, okay?
Yeah, for sure. So we're here today because Mahfuzul Islam is running for the New York State Assembly, and he said he's trying to build a participatory democracy, okay? So that's inclusive of economic development and an improved quality of life for residents in the 24th District of New York. And I just want to shout out those districts. I think, Queens is really struggling right now with what's happening with the COVID-19. So he's out here campaigning for folks in Belrose, Briarwood, Hillcrest, Glen Oak, Queens Village, Hollis, Jamaica, and Richmond Hill. So if you are tuning in and you're from any of those areas, drop us a comment, wave to us, let us know that you're watching.
Shout out your high school in the comments. Green Metro Card Gang, what's up? Mahfuzul is a lifelong District 24 resident. He is a product of his Queens Village community, having lived here his entire life. He graduated from its public schools and uses its public transportation and public spaces every day. He and his extended family have lived, worked, and persevered to build a decent life in New York. So why don't we pull up the man in question here?
All right, yeah. Introducing Mahfuzul.
Like many of us in this room, we grew up with 5 families living in the same household just so we could pay rent and utilities. At 6 years old, we picked up the phone and translated for our parents. At 10 years old, we filled out applications so they could get into jobs. At 12 years old, we helped them study for their citizenship test. And I wonder, why after all this training, why did we need someone else to talk on our behalf? It's up to us to create a society that works for us, where we have influence over our own lives and creating the community and system that allows us not to just get by, but to thrive.
Yes. Hey, Mahfuzul, how are you?
Wait, I think you're muted.
Yeah, you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that was weird.
All good. All
It's
good.
all good, man. We are learning. We are We're getting into the groove of this virtual life now. So no fault of yours, okay?
It's the pandemic's fault.
How are you doing?
I'm good. We're working on the campaign every single day. Everything is in high gear. We're about a month away from the election, so all hands on deck.
So I know we have a few questions for you, but before we get into that, I wanted to let the viewers know like how we can vote without having to leave our homes, because I know that was something that you're also advocating for through social media and stuff like that. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Definitely.
Yeah. When is the election and how can people vote? Yeah, for sure.
So the election itself is June 23rd, but as a result of the pandemic, we could all vote from home. You request an absentee ballot, and that you could do online, nycabsentee.com. We're also going to get it mailed to our house for those who don't have access to the internet. And so, it's just always easier. You don't have to go to the poll on June 23rd, expose yourself. So June 16th is the last date for you to request an absentee ballot.
Okay, awesome. So everyone remember that link.
And we'll have someone drop it in the comments as well, so that you guys know where to find the link, because it's actually really easy. I did it myself like a couple of days ago, so make sure you do that. So Mahfuzul.
Yeah, we were wondering, so what encouraged you to start running, and why is your name on the ballot?
Yeah. Now I was telling Zubi on her show, it was my cousin that made me do it. But the main idea, the context behind me running is more so like the systemic problems that exist more than anything. I didn't have an aspiration to become a politician, but the situation called for it. So this area that we live in, David Weprin, who's been in office, he's been in office for 10 years. Before that was his dad, Mark Weprin. Before that was his brother, Mark Weprin. Before that was his dad, Saul Weprin. So since the 1960s, it's been a legacy seat, and it's like stuff that happens in countries that our parents are from, right? And the demographic has changed drastically since his father has been in office here. And my cousin saw all my peers that were running. And we're running as insurgents, meaning we're running against people who have been in office for a long period of time, incumbents. And we just wanted to see a change in this district that we've always grew up in. And now is the time, because there is that kind of feeling, that electricity in the environment of all of our peers that are running at the same time.
That's so great.
So what actions is the campaign taking during the pandemic right now?
Yeah. So prior to embarking on this campaign, I worked with Anjalamyc, which worked directly with the working class folks. And so right now, as a result of the pandemic, we're going back to the roots of who, our campaign and what I worked on prior to this campaign. So with this pandemic, we were working with mutual aid groups that are reaching out to those who are immunocompromised or down to the last dollar, giving them groceries, prescriptions, checking in to see how they're doing. Just yesterday, we reached out to a constituent. Constituent reached out to us. Her husband died last year. Her kids all live outside of the state, and she's been in quarantine for the last 2-3 months. As long as we've been in quarantine, she has some kidney issues as well, and so she wanted to. She needed some groceries. So I went out, got the groceries, and Shakib, from the campaign, went out and dropped it off. So she was so excited and so happy. The fact that the platform like this campaign exists allowed for us to do this during the pandemic. So it's just it's destiny, it's kismet that we embarked on a campaign when something like this happened.
Well, we are so encouraged and inspired to see all the mutual aid efforts that your campaign is taking place in Queens, and we're thinking of everyone in Queens right now for sure. Any parting words that you want to share with our audience, people who've tuned in, anyone? I'm sure folks would love to hear from you about your campaign.
Yeah, no, I'm just excited that we're all the great people that I'm meeting as a result of this campaign, and what we've embarked on has, regardless of whether we win or not, like is already an act. We've always wanted people to be, aware of what's happening out in our district, and aware that Eastern Queens exists, and Eastern Queens is definitely on the map now.
Yeah, and I think that for sure what you guys are doing is, especially with the mutual aid, it's making an impact, and it's making everyone else aware of what's going on in these areas that are underserved in Queens. So
yeah. And realize that it's like, there's so much that will happen post this, during this, and onwards.
For sure.
That's so real.
Yeah.
All right.
So Mahfuzul, thank you so much for joining us.
I'll be here.
We're gonna get the show started. Is everybody ready?
We're gonna take that as a yes.
Yeah, we're getting all the comments on here just so you can see their faces before we introduce the first comic coming up. I know you guys are all clapping at home, so I'm gonna be clapping by myself here right now. Pooja, why don't you introduce our first comic? I'm so excited for her. She's so funny.
Our first comedian is hilarious. Her name is Millie Tamarez. She's been on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me as a writer. She is also the host of All Dick is Trash podcast. Please welcome Millie Tamarez.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me. I was really hoping that all the comics would be on the screen so everyone can text each other. This bitch is whack. To each other while I'm doing my set. So it could feel like a real show. Yes, I do host the All Dick is Trash podcast. That is a little bit about me. It's a life philosophy that really is empowering. So a little bit more about me. I'm Dominican and, Dominican American. And right now the most popular Dominican American woman in, pop culture is Cardi B. And a lot of other, Dominican women are like, this is like not fair. Like, she's not a representation of us. She's so ratchet. She's so, she's not really like truly representing our voice. And, I thought about it, and, Cardi B was in the news a few months ago for going to, her husband had cheated on her, and she went to the woman's job at a hookah bar and beat her ass. And I mean, that's 100% what all Dominican women would do. Like, if you're not going to go to your husband's side bitch's job to beat someone's ass, I mean, are you really in love? Probably not. Another thing about being a Dominican woman is we have huge areolas. I didn't know that was just a Dominican woman thing. And it's just like basically like the whole breast is just areola. And I didn't know it was like a brown woman thing until I was watching TV and Lady Gaga showed up and she had two little Band-Aids over her nipples. And I was like, what? Photoshop? What's going on? And that's how I learned that, all nipples are not the same. A little bit more, I'm like adjusting to this quarantine, differently. My life in New York was very active. In the morning, my schedule would be like, wake up, meditate, go to a yoga class, go to a comedy show, teach, meet clients, whatever. And now my schedule is wake up at 1 p.m., fight with 3 people in my building, and then fight with Cuban anti-vaxxers on Facebook. So still trying to keep a packed schedule. And yes, by the statement Cuban anti-vaxxers, yes, I did grow up in Miami. If you're from Miami, at least 8 Cuban anti-vaxxers.
Oh my God.
Before all of this, like, when I would be dating guys, like, and I'd try to practice safe sex, when it was time to when it was time to wear a condom, they would all complain. They're like, no, like, wearing a condom, like, it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel right. It's like, eating a delicious meal with a sock in your mouth. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I started doing live stream comedy shows. It's the joy of, performing live comedy, but then with a sock in your mouth, of just realizing that you're just talking to a computer. So because of that, I now have compassion for men. And when this quarantine's all over, I will let 4 guys raw dog me. So glad to be on this political campaign. I was told that nothing was out of limits. So hey, I have been, online dating is pretty tough. Like, I swear, a lot of men are acting like there's no difference, and they would happily come over and risk it all to get, just to get a little something. But if I'm just like, if I have sex with someone, meet somebody online and have sex with them and get COVID, then I'm just gonna be known as a hovid, and I'm okay not doing that. But yeah, and then I was just thinking, like, man, if I get ghosted, like if I have sex with someone and they don't text me back during quarantine, I will kill them. Like, that's just, and I'll show up to their house without a mask, droplets everywhere. Fuck that. There's a Netflix show on right now. It's called Too Hot to Handle, and it's basically like a bunch of hot people are stuck in a house, and they're paid $100,000 if they don't have sex for 30 days. And I was just thinking, like, man, I'm only getting paid $1,200 to not have sex for like 90 days. America really underpays and undervalues women of color. It's so messed up. So if anyone wants to pay me to not have sex, I mean, listen, my Venmo is somewhere. Yeah. Dating was pretty hard, even like before all of this, because, as a woman of color, you'd be dating, and you go on a date with a nice white guy, and then he'll just say something a little off, and you're just like, wait, Connor, did you vote for Trump? And then he'll be like, no. And you're like, oh, okay. And it's like, I voted for Gary Johnson. It's like, what? It's like, no, don't worry, I'm progressive. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're progressive. That's fine, yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm a progressive libertarian. It's like, what the fuck is that? That's worse. And then all my friends are like, oh, just give him a chance, he's almost there. He's almost there. He just needs like a little bit of, just to give it. It's just like, look, okay, I'm looking for a move-in ready home. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for a renovation project. You know what happens? You go in, you're just like, it's almost there, but I'm just going to change the wallpaper on the bathroom. And then it's just something is not, the lights aren't turning on right. And then you take down the drywall, and the wiring is all from the 50s. And that is a joke for people who touch themselves to the Property Brothers, like I do. We all know which one's the hotter one, so I don't even have to go there. But dating Black men isn't that much easier either, because at some point in the date, they'll turn to me, whatever, and they'll just say, like, man, white women are crazy. I'm just like, whoa, hold on a second. Okay. The feminist in me, like, I can't subscribe to that. Like, I can't, like, solidarity with all women, and women never do anything wrong. But then, I just sit and think about it. And like, look, like, Lena Dunham, Lindsay Lohan, like, he's not wrong. Okay. He's wrong. But then, this one guy was like, yeah, I was on this date with this white woman, and it was going great, but then she was like, hey, like, do you want to go to the bathroom and do some coke with me? And he's like, isn't that crazy? And I'm like, yeah, that's insane. I would never share my coke on the first date. What the hell? You should go to her now and marry her. How am I doing on time?
I think you have about 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Great. Yeah. So, I was famously in London before all of this, and I did a whole bunch of shows in London. And yeah, I told this joke where, which is true. I got fired. Again, I'm a trendsetter, so I was on unemployment before everyone else started hopping on the bandwagon. And that's really sad. So yeah, I was just telling the story. I got fired, but then they're like, "You got to leave today, like immediately. Like security's escorting you out." And I was like, "Damn, I left my lunch." But then they're like, "But you have our insurance, our company insurance for the next month." And I was like, "What? Are you telling me I got this good ass insurance and no job? Bitch, I'm gonna go to therapy twice a week. I'm gonna go to the nutritionist. Whatever she has to say, I'll ignore it. I'm gonna go. I didn't go to a dentist for like 10 years. And then I went to the dentist 4 times in a month. Like last month. And then, yeah. And I was just telling this story. And the look on everyone's faces in this London crowd was horrifying. In New York City, that joke kills. Everyone thinks it's so funny. They're like, yeah, that's happened to me. I've had to like squeeze in all these appointments. In London, like concerned, they were so. And I was like, don't worry. If Boris Johnson gets his way, you'll be just like America. And they got very scared. So I lost the audience then. Hopefully, I didn't lose you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Millie. Woo. All right, we are going to keep the show moving. All right. So you may have seen our next comedian on MTV's Decoded. She's also appeared on Jimmy Kimmel and Refinery 29. Please put your hands together for Fareeha Khan.
Woo! Hey, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me. Okay, so yes, I am a comedian, but I did do the artist's way last year, so now I play guitar too. That's fun. So we're gonna start this off with a little song. This is thank you so much, girls. This is a song about sort of a controversial subject right now, bats. So here we go. My friend Ted is obsessed with bats, yeah. He's always talking about freaking bats, yeah. He's always going to the caves to eat, sleep, and live with the bats. It's like, okay, dude, calm down, you're obsessed with bats. It's funny because he kind of looks like a bat, yeah. He's got black hair and a pointy nose and wings that span out like a bat. He's got tiny, creepy teeth and a body that's a mix between a dog and a rat. Oh, fuck, wait, Ted's a bat. My friend Ted is a bat. Him and his dude started coronavirus because they carry it in their bodies for evolutionary reasons I do not yet understand. I miss my buddy Ted, but we can't hang out because he is a bat, and bats and humans are divided right now like the country. I miss you, Ted. That's a song about Ted. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Really crazy stuff, isn't it? So what a time, right, to be alive. I was sort of thinking about how, we're going through this pandemic, and what was going on in the past pandemics that have happened here on Earth. Like, how did people feel about it? In fact, what did the comedians do back then? Sometimes it feels like a little bit futile to be like, yeah, I want to chase my dreams and do comedy and do art, when it's like, we're hitting a really hard recession and everyone's dying. Okay, not to really bring it down right now, but this is sort of where I'm at. So I was thinking, maybe what was it like during, one of the early pandemics that we know of, the Black Plague, which was one of the most horrific plagues of all time. A lot of people were affected by the bubonic plague, where like parts of their body would swell up and then they would die. It was pretty bad. So I was sort of at the library, digitally, of course, online, and I was looking through for maybe what the comics of that time did to sort of, provide entertainment. And I actually found something I thought was really interesting. So I thought it might be cool if I recreated it here for you now, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you guys. So this is a court jester from the Black Death era. Here we go. Hello all, thank you for coming out to the court tonight. I'm Gister Larry. I have about 5 years training experience in this entertainment field. I'm in my 30s. I should be dead by now, but my passion for flesh and keeps me alive. So God bless to that. Okay, so we're just gonna have a good time tonight. All right, remember to tip your bartenders. Now, if I could just get a word, please, to get sort of started here. So just I'll hear a word from over there. Okay, all right. The word I heard was boobies. Okay. Anything else, guys? That would be about the 60th time this week, if you know. Okay, so we'll just go with it then. All right. So what I'm going to do now is a bit of long form improv. I don't know if you guys have seen Middleditch and Schwartz on Netflix. That's going to come out about a few hundred years from now, but that's sort of a similar vibe. So here we go. Hello there, neighbor. May I have a cup of sugar and boobies? It's the boobies and the boobies and the peelers, because as you know, in this time period, we call the cops bobbies. And okay, so what was that? You don't like this? Well, okay then, and then that's sort of how it ended. It was really interesting stuff. I thought that was amazing. Just to think, an artist here to an artist there, struggling. I felt really hit me deep. So, it's kind of crazy just thinking about how messed up everything is and how inefficient our country is at handling it, and just how it's like what's going to happen to all of us. And I find myself as a person plagued with the gift of existential crises all the time. I find myself always wondering what is going on here. What is the meaning of life? And really, I think what's interesting is, I'd love to get sort of spiritual, and I want to ask God, but it's like, who has the connection to? Oh wait, do you guys hear this music?
Woo, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh my God, it's God. What? This is so crazy. Holy shit, God. This is exactly what we need right now. We sort of needed to commune with you. Okay, you're gonna talk to me, but God, I just want to know what is the meaning of life? Oh, okay. Okay, they're going to tell me. They go by they, them pronouns, sort of gender fluid, but they're going to tell me, and you guys should probably write it down. So I just need someone to probably write it down. So here, yes, God, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you, dude. Okay, what is the meaning of life? Okay, you guys writing this down? Okay, there is no meaning, so therefore life is absurd, and in the face of the void, we create our own meaning. You guys writing this down? Based on what's personally important to us. Okay, you know what's funny about that, God, is that actually sounds a lot like French existentialist philosopher Albert Camus. Okay, what's up? Okay, God, they left. I lost the connection. So, yeah, so I guess that's the meaning of life. Interesting, right? Interesting. twist, doing comedy on the internet like this, and then I saw God right now. So I wish the industry was, I'm just kidding around. I'm sorry, I brought that into it. I think I'm just going to use the rest of my time to just sort of talk about my experience in quarantine so far. Just some classic stand-up jokes, sort of hit you guys with that. Social distancing, more like my childhood. Okay, so that's a joke about how I did not have that many friends yet when I was a child. So you know how it is. So it's interesting. I'm quarantining with my family. Actually, I did. I fled New York and I came to Virginia to stay here with my family, which I understand is a privilege, sort of fleeing. And I'm sorry to say it, but I understand. We have a difficult time in our culture understanding how to process privilege, and so I will just sort of go ahead and say my family's immigrants, so you cannot be mad. Because what it is they're immigrants, and so whatever privilege they created, it's like, God bless, isn't it? You know what I mean? Right? Those guys worked hard. Let's not be mad about that. So I am quarantining with my family. A lot of people, a lot of my friends that have been with family or didn't want to go see family or anything, they're like, yeah, I just can't handle seeing my family right now. And I think that's understandable. It's not always a good time, but strangely for me, it was sort of a lot better than I thought staying in New York alone. So I every time I'm talking to my friends and they're talking about how they hate their families, I'm trying to fit in, and I'm like, yeah, same here, guys. It totally sucks to have love, hug, support, food, and a warm, nice home to live in that I did not have when I was sort of alone there in New York City. Okay, I'm realizing this is probably not the right audience for that joke. This is something we all are gonna have to address, sort of, just like when the class warfare are up. So you know what I'm saying? Okay, so here we go. Also coming home, it's I've been talking a lot more politics with my family, which is fun, right? And it's a lot of me coming to the table and sort of saying, I think that Karl Marx was right. A lot of things are right, and that I do think capitalism has been destroying us in a lot of ways, and I'm not really seeing all the benefits of it. They're getting really mad at me as hardworking immigrants who sort of gave it all up for capitalism. You know what I mean? So anyways, it is actually Ramadan right now, and my family is Muslim, and they're all fasting. And I told them, it's just not for me. It's too hard. I don't like it. I fasted the first day. It was not a good time, so I said, I'm just not going to do it. And my dad said, that I'm actually lazy and that I'm missing out on an opportunity to sort of spiritually connect with humanity, because, a big underlying idea of fasting is that you're connecting with the poor people around the world who don't have food and water, to eat and drink, and so you're experiencing their pain. And I said, that's why I'm a socialist, honey. And then my mom said that she voted for Bloomberg and she does not agree with my ideas. So anyways, thank you guys so much for having me. Vote in the primaries.
Yeah, Fareeha. Dude, I know the struggle of living with our parents. It's there. I'm fasting, and I think it's mostly just the guilt that's keeping me there.
Yeah.
But we're really excited to welcome our next. Let's hear it one more time from your rooms for Fareeha and Millie. Our next comedian coming up. So Kutti gang, we always have one male ally. And I'm really excited for this guy. He's such a good guy. He's so funny. And also resident of Queens. You might have seen him on Jimmy Kimmel. No, not Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Fallon. So many Jimmys in the world, okay? So many fucking Jimmys in the world. We gotta take one of these shows away from the Jimmys. But we've seen him on Fallon and NBC's Bring the Funny. So let's hear it for LeClerc.
Hey, comedy on Zoom. What's up, everybody? Happy to be with you. This is fun. I get to do comedy on my laptop, which is the worst type of comedy, but we're doing it. I'm quarantined with my wife. I'm married for now, and we're keeping it together. Me and my first wife are quarantining and trying not to kill each other. We used to get in fights, and when we would argue, we would like give each other silent treatment. But we decided not to do that while quarantining, since we have no one else to talk to. So we're working out our problems. It's great. I'm enjoying this whole process. My comedy career is going so poorly now that my wife is starting to help me with my comedy. She's a teacher. And she thinks that she can do comedy better than your boy now because of this quarantine. She wrote a joke for me. Do you guys want to hear this joke my wife wrote for me?
Woo!
She wrote this joke. She does it in my voice, so this is the joke. I just got married, and I love being in a committed, loving, faithful relationship. It's much better than when I was single, dating whores. Yeah. She doesn't have a punchline. It was just something she wanted to put out there. She's very insecure. I think the joke was just making sure that people knew I was married on stage. I don't like it. I've been doing a lot of comedy on Zoom, which isn't the worst. I feel like the only thing worse than doing comedy on Zoom is going to church on Zoom. I've been going to church online. The service isn't that bad, but afterwards, my pastor would like send me a message on Venmo, and it's just a picture of Jesus in a hand. He's just like asking for my tithe on Venmo, which is aggressive, right? I think being attacked by you don't send Jesus on Venmo. That's a bit aggressive. I'm quarantining in Texas right now. I live in Queens, but I'm a Texas refugee right now. I don't know why I did this. I feel like this is how I'm accumulating, is just by pumping my fist and yelling at Obama. But this is where I live now. I miss New York. I'm missing things about New York that I never thought I would miss. I came here a couple weeks ago, and the last image I had of New York was a guy catcalling a girl wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. And the catcall was just, "Hey, girl, let me see a nostril." And I was like, all right, I'm going to miss I'm going to miss dudes asking to see some lips, which is a fun thing. People are wearing these masks, and they're getting good at it. I feel like nobody appreciates wearing masks every day than ugly people with really nice bodies. You ever notice this? They're like, they think they're hot shit now. I'm like, relax. You still got buck teeth. I was on the subway, and I found myself like missing things that I would never miss normally. Like, my family's from Haiti, so when people complain about the MTA in New York, I'm like, it's not that bad. Like, you can bring a goat on the bus. So I'm like, I get it. There's somebody peeing, but it's not goat piss. I was on the subway and somebody started panhandling. This is right before I left. And I started getting nostalgic. Like, I feel like it's been so long since we've done normal things like ride the subway. And I started reaching in my pocket. I was going to give this guy a little bit of money. And at one point during his speech, he was like, "Hey, guys, this could happen to you." And it really connected because as a comic, a full-time comic, I've been hit really, really hard by this. So I took that money and I put it back in my pocket. I'm going to need that more than I'm ever going to need money. It's important to save is what I'm trying to say, I guess. I've been watching all the internet. Has anybody else ran out of content? I think I've seen everything on YouTube, and it's getting sad. I watched the Tiger King. Tiger King was good. You guys see the Tiger King?
Woo!
Woo! as a black person, we want more representation on TV. And then I saw the Tiger King, and I was like, y'all can have that. We don't need that type of representation. Tigers and incest. That's another thing black people don't want any parts of. Y'all can have Game of Thrones and Tiger King. He got married 4 times. They showed 3 husbands, but he got married 4 times. 4 times. And I feel like if you're single, it's on you at this point, right? If he could trick 3 straight dudes into marrying him, I feel like we could figure something out, right? Love is Blind is another show. People are getting married to strangers. Just settle is what I think I'm just saying settle. We should all settle and more content with whoever we end up with. I'm really missing doing stand-up though. Stand-up used to be bad, but it's worse now. And I appreciate how bad it used to be now. I knew that the corona was gonna be serious when it first came out. I remember when Ebola came out. You guys remember when Ebola first came out? I knew Ebola was serious because it started killing black people first. And I knew that's when it was serious. When COVID first came out, I was like, I'm gonna have to wait for this to kill somebody that I know. And then it started killing people, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna move. And I moved to Texas immediately. I really opened it. Don't tell people that my apartment's empty. That'll be really bad. I'm learning a lot about myself, though. This has been really a very reflective moment in my life. I learned that I could eat a whole loaf of bread in a day. I know you don't want to hear that if you're fasting, but I'm doing that. I'm eating whole loaves, French toast, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, hot dogs on just regular slices of bread. You ever do that poor shit? Where you just put a hot dog in an inappropriate bun? I've been doing that.
Yeah.
Dressing that shit. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, man. I miss life. Does anybody miss hugs? I miss hugs.
Hug your wife.
Hug my wife. I'm angry.
You come for all the single people. Hug your wife, damn it.
Hug your wife.
Hug your wife, you ungrateful people. Nah. Yeah, I do miss people. I'm gonna give you guys all virtual hugs when this is all over. Are you guys finding the stimulus money to be helpful? Anybody? You guys spending that shit?
Woo. Yep.
Woo.
My boy got a stimulus check. He's poor, but like, let's not pretend like some of us weren't poor before COVID. He's always been poor, and he used the stimulus money on AirPods. And mind you, he sleeps on an air mattress. You ever meet a person so dumb? How do you buy AirPods when you sleep on an air mattress, right? You can't buy AirPods if you can't afford AC, and he can't do any of that. But he's flexing. He got money now. I wish my stimulus check will come in. I'm running out of deodorant. I'm very hungry, guys. Is what I'm I wish the stimulus money would sustain us through this whole process. I feel like it's getting nice outside, you guys, and I miss Central Park. I miss seeing people play frisbee. I miss people playing sports. The NBA is gone. I have nothing else to do with my life. I feel like if this ended today, we wouldn't know how to get back to normal, right? I feel like dating is weird. I know guys who are wearing face masks who've never worn condoms. That's a pandemic alert, right? If you're wearing face masks but you've never worn a condom, you are alarmed. Yeah, it's all really, really sad. But I hope that this ends very, very soon. I hope that you guys find love. Are you guys anybody dating? Anybody here trying to? Any pandemic babies happening out there? Any?
And no, LeClerc, that would be.
That would be what?
Irresponsible.
Nah, it's not that bad, girl. You can still wear a mask and get busy, right? You don't got to. You don't gotta kiss to get pregnant. That's the name of my new comedy album. You don't gotta kiss. You don't gotta kiss to get pregnant. It's gonna be a bad album. I really wish that this was over. I'm happy that we're doing this benefit show. I want you to make Queens better. I really gotta go now. I have to pretend that I have something to do later.
Yeah, like hug your wife.
Like hug my wife. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. You guys have been great. Thanks again for having me.
Woo! Thank you, LeClerc.
Hug your wife, sir. Tell them they've been in quarantine for 2 months by themselves, sir. Hug your damn wife.
My wife told me my dick is trapped earlier, so I have to.
Oh.
It's not true. I promise you.
All that.
All right, guys. Well, Zubi and I have a special little segment for you all. And, some of us would consider ourselves experts. Zubi, would you say so, that we are experts in giving advice?
I think so. I think that the advice that we're about to give right now, you guys should seriously take this into consideration. Maybe take out your moleskin notebooks and your pens and write this down, because we're coming here to you today with some really good quarantine coping mechanisms. All right. I know that quarantine has been hard. Some of us are home with our parents. Some of us are alone in our apartments. But we're here to tell you that there is a way to get through this, guys.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So quarantine coping mechanism number 1, put so much coconut oil in your hair that you yourself become a coconut.
I love that one, because with us not being able to go to our eyebrow ladies, we are definitely becoming as hairy as coconuts. So the second coping mechanism, ignore all your bills, and even when the stimulus checks come and you're ready to spend it, don't pay those bills and just buy a jumpsuit from Fashion Nova.
Pertinent financial advice from Zubi Ahmed. All right, here's something else. Compile all the login info for every streaming service that's out there, okay? I'm talking about HBO. I'm talking about Hulu. I'm talking about Disney Plus, Quibi, Prime Video, and then just only watch reruns of The Office on Netflix.
The next one is learn TikTok dances and become a TikTok sensation. I know that a lot of us are doing this, especially as millennials. We feel out of place, but we can do it, okay? We can do it. We've killed so many industries. We've got this, you guys.
Here's something that I'm personally doing. Analyze every text that you've sent in the last calendar year, and then follow or unfollow your ex's family on Instagram, depending on how chaotic that you want to be.
Yeah. For those of us at home with our parents, when they knock on the bathroom door, when you're inside and they ask you who's in there, shout, "It's a surprise!" and see what happens.
I love that. Here's something that I'm doing. Just continue to show up to every work meeting late, even though you are commuting a total of 10 steps from your couch to your computer, okay? Just show your boss who's boss, okay? Trust me, it's a power move.
I'm sorry. I didn't have the link to the Zoom yet. Did you send it? Are you sure? And the last one, frame your Metro card to remember the good times. I really miss the train.
Man, miss the train. We miss all the public transport that we're not taking right now.
I think that all of my best naps have been on the A train, and no one will ever convince me otherwise.
Facts.
So.
Facts. All right, guys. Well, we're going to keep the show going, okay? We have a couple more comedians. We We have a great act at the very end. We got some music. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. We've been having a lot of fun. I hope that you're having fun too from home. So our next comedian has been featured on Bustle as 5 Muslim women comedians who will get you through social distancing. And she's also one of the hosts of the No Fly List podcast. Please put your hands together for Amamah Sardar.
Oh my God, hi. Hello, everyone. This is such a good cause. I'm so excited to be here because I literally have nothing else to do also. So this is great. I don't know about everyone else, but I think pandemics are like a really good time to get into religion or really prove that you're an atheist. Right? Like, I don't know if anyone else is doing that because I honestly was like committed to being an atheist, and the pandemic happened and I was like, all right, maybe I'll believe in Islam. Like I have realized that I am not committed to anything. I have no backbone. I was just like immediately like, if God will help this get easier, I will jump ship immediately. I'm not that religious. I do love Islam though. It's like I was brought up that way. So I know it's Ramadan right now. I don't know if anyone else is fasting. If you don't know what Ramadan is, you fast from sunrise to sundown. So it's like 15 hours, no food, no water. And wow, it's really helped me realize that you need a lot of strength and willpower to have an eating disorder. You know, like I always thought I had one, and then I fasted for the first time like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh wow, I was doing it wrong the whole time. Like I was eating way too much. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Yeah, I'm not really religious, but I know there are a lot of layoffs, which has really got me thinking that if I were about to get fired, I would show up to my Zoom call in like full hijab, maybe even a burqa. If my boss was like, we should talk about your performance, I'd be like, oh, the day I find Islam, you want to talk about my performance? That seems a little concerning. I don't know if you really want to go down that path. I know LeClerc was talking about dating, even though he has a wife, seems unfair. It's fine. I don't recommend, if you're on any dating apps, I don't recommend that you stay with whoever you're talking to right now. Because right now you guys are bonding over conspiracy theories, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're like, oh my God, wow, we believe in the exact same ones. He's sane. And then give it like 5 or 6 months. After this is over, you finally meet and you're like, oh wow, you really do believe that squirrels are doctors. I wasn't expecting that. Which is exactly the type of guy that I would end up with. I've been with a lot of white rappers, and it's disappointing for anyone who's listening and for myself, because one time a guy said, let me spit some rhymes for you, and I got wet. I was like, oh my God, he knows how to read and write. That's amazing. That is better than most men I've ever been with, which is true. One thing that happens though is like on Hinge, you keep getting a most compatible, and every single guy that Hinge keeps telling me is most compatible looks exactly like all the men that my mom set me up with. Yeah, I know. It really makes you realize that you're not as cute as you thought you were. You're like, oh, so if computers and my own mother feel this way, I'm in the wrong. I get it. I'm still, like, I know we support all healthcare workers, and I do, but except for my ex-boyfriend. I don't know where it's like okay to say that, because like usually at open mics you could say it, and then in front of people I would workshop it, but I'm just gonna say that every time people clap at 7 o'clock, I'm like, everyone except him. Every single one of you except for him. So there's probably a lot of brown people on this, and just know that one of you who's a doctor, I hope you guys are doing well, but there's probably one person out there that's like your enemy who's like, everyone except for Nasser. Not Nasser, but everyone else. My mom tried to get me arranged married. Wow, I'm like the worst candidate for it too. Like, imagine me meeting someone's parents. I'd be like, "Hey, man, what's up?" Would not be good. But she was like, marriage is full of surprises, and I think arranged marriage is like too many surprises. Like the first night that I'm with the guy, I'm like, "Hey, man, nice to meet you." When I have sex, I just lie there. Like I don't even make a sound. Actually, I prefer to be. I'm not going to enjoy this. Nothing you do will matter. To be a perfect girlfriend. So I guess I know I talked about religion. I still believe in ghosts because those are absolute fear of brown person. Denying ghosts, I think, is worse than denying Islam. I don't know. There's some correlation. I'll figure that one out. But I used to be kind of a nut because I carried crystals on me, and I think I'm 99% sure I've given Zubi crystals. Crystals, for those of you who don't know, they're magical rocks, usually according to like homeless men and white women. That's your demographic. And in LA, when we were allowed to travel, I was in LA. I'm also just bragging. I was in LA. And this woman was like, "Hey, if you take some crystals and you put them on your body, good things will happen." So I took like a few and I shoved them in my bra. And then that night I was with someone and he took my bra off. And oh boy, the crystals did not fall to the floor at all, like they should have. No, they stayed on my boobs like I had bedazzled. Yeah, man. Honestly, that's the moment I realized that you guys will literally fuck anyone. You don't care. You have no standards. His only reaction was like, "I love rocks," and that was it. I was like, "All right, cool." I don't know how much time I have left. I do want to say that I was really into politics. I still am. I really believe that like really dope people can make a change. That's why I'm really excited to support like really anyone who's making changes like you are. I do want to say that I think my new standard for men will be people who are making a change instead of writing the next album about their moms. I think that's what we should all hope for. But I guess I'll leave you guys with this. I was for a while I taught high school. Really want to inspire kids, and I really feel for every single teacher out there right now because you guys are working all day and you're getting cyberbullied by your students all night. So thank you for your sacrifice. I know it must be hard because it was hard for me, but thank you so much.
Woo! Thank you, Mama.
Mama, that was so funny. I especially felt the Hinge thing compared to the biodatas my mom sends me. It was like, "What do you think of me? What do you think of me?"
Zubi, I've sent Zubi all the guys, or most of the guys that my mom has set me up with. I'm like, "Look at him! I can't believe this is happening."
And yes, you definitely did give me a crystal. I have it in my wallet. And I think it was specifically for like dating and sex or something. So
I'm so sorry. None of that worked.
No,
it's my fault.
I'm
this
sure
pandemic happened.
It hasn't worked at all. Is what she said. All right.
Well, we have one last comedian on the lineup. Our last comedian is a Queens native, and she's also the host of the Bop Pod, which you can find on Spotify and other streaming platforms. We are so excited to introduce Ilana Rubin.
Woo! Cool. Thank you guys so much for having me. I was very honored to be asked to do this show. I forgot I was a comedian. You know, all I do now is wash dishes and speak to myself in a British accent. So this was a really nice reminder that I do other things. Yeah, I'm from Queens, which I'm also really excited to be on the show because if something Queens related happens and I'm not part of it, then I just will cry and just never stop crying. I haven't stopped crying since Entourage, basically. I missed the boat with that show, and I'll never get it back. I'm from Queens. I love it so much. I'm from a neighborhood called Fresh Meadows, which sounds made up, but it's not. I like to call Fresh Meadows the place where a Hooters was erected twice in the same location, because it is a place where Hooters was erected twice in the same location. That is my favorite thing about my neighborhood. It is also where I lost my virginity, which, will always hold a special place in my heart, because at this point in time, I can't remember another time in which I've had sex other than when I lost my virginity. So that's a really fun thing. Actually, this pandemic, I feel a little bit guilty because it hasn't been so bad for me, except for the random weeks in which I'm like incredibly depressed. But overall, it's been pretty great. I feel like I'm thriving a little bit. It's kind of crazy what will happen when you're forced to cut out toxic relationships, and also you're so bored that all you can do is work out every day. So yeah, that's been really interesting to get used to. But what else did I want to talk about? So I mentioned I do get depressed sometimes. That is something that and myself alone experience, and no other person on this earth, which is cool. I have something called PMDD, which is basically when you are depressed before your period. So that's fun because not only are you just bleeding, your mind is also in some ways bleeding. And it's, I'm kind of thankful for it during this time because it's adding a lot of drama to this otherwise really boring experience. But some treatments for PMDD include birth control, sitting on your toilet for 20 minutes, watching TikTok, and also just spending millions of dollars on Rihanna's lingerie line. That is probably where most of my money goes. And before you ask, I am incredibly alone during this time, so no one is seeing the lingerie except for me, which is also, a good test to see, if I can seduce myself in the evenings. I've accumulated so much lingerie in this period of time that sometimes I just like to assemble it on my bed in the shape of a human body and pretend that those are my guests for the evening. Which is cool. They're also all British for some reason. The other day, what else is new? The other day, it's weird. It's weird when during a pandemic, you're like, do I have anything to talk about? But my niece was bat mitzvahed this past Friday. Spoiler alert, I'm Jewish. Not only did I work in a bagel place, but if somebody told me I was conceived in a bagel place, I would believe them. It was my niece's bat mitzvah on Friday, and I had to organize a Google Hangout for myself, my sisters, my parents, my mom's ex-husband. And I don't know if there's a test to become an event planner, but I'm pretty sure that the mental trauma that alone caused me makes me an event planner. Because it was quite an experience. I don't really have any jokes about that in particular. Just that in a really shocking twist of events, I don't like my mom's ex-husband. So that's cool. That was the singular event that I've attended in the past 3 months. I think when this is all over, the functionality of my apartment has turned into not just an apartment. It's a movie theater. It's a bar. It's a museum. There's art here. I will charge people $30 to walk through the door when this is all finished. I have to make up for all the money I've spent and just like given to Rihanna, basically. I should write her name on all of my cash, I guess. I think like I realize I'm not alone here because just all of my demons are filling the space. And I've always been a person that's like, I like being alone. You know, I have these fantasies of being like a recluse that like escapes to the woods to write for like years on end. And but like in reality, if I were to do that, I would probably come back like in 20 years with absolutely nothing to show for my time in the woods, because it takes me like 3 weeks to write, you know, a 3-paragraph blog post. So that's cool. But I have been taking this time to, you know, try to invest in myself and to do things that I wouldn't normally have time for. Like I've been baking a lot. I've been cleaning. I hate cleaning. My roommates usually do it. I've been cooking a ton. And like I said, I've been working out. I'm still working, thankfully, throughout all this. And I had this moment like a few weeks ago where I was just like, wow, I am an all-in-one 1950s marriage. I'm the breadwinner. I'm the homemaker. And I'm also not having sex. So that's, you know, that was a really big win for me. Maybe I can tell my parents I'm actually married, which they would feel relieved about. But I am, you know, for the obvious reasons that this is a really tragic time. There was like a lot I wanted to do this year. You know, I wanted to get those clear framed glasses that everybody had. I was hoping to have sex for a second time this year. You know, I really wanted to be a bad texter. Like I was just like praying, like maybe this is the year I will be less available to people. But nope, I could not be more available on all channels. Even like the channels that I'm not on, I'm still available on those, you know? And to prove it, actually, this wasn't even part of the joke, but yesterday I received an office meme from someone's Yahoo email that I don't know. And then during the show, they followed it up with, "Can you accept my friend request? It is Mojo Jojo 1345. So I don't know who this person is, but they found me. So, you know, thank you to Mojo Jojo. I also, you know, what did I want to talk about? I do, you know, like I saw my friends this weekend from a safe distance. But there's so much that I miss about the world. You know, people have mentioned trains. I miss the G train like you wouldn't believe. They're just, you experience so much on one G train ride. Entertainment, various smells. You know, I saw a fight between, well, this isn't new. It's New York. I saw fights on the G train, obviously, but like, I just really very much miss the MTA. I miss human touch. I am so fearful for what will happen when I get my first bikini wax again. Because that is, you know, just factually a sensitive area that, I don't know, I'll probably cry. I'll probably laugh. And you know, I'm just in general a bit fearful about it. What else? I mentioned I saw my family via Google Hangout the other day, and I have like a weird relationship with my family. We're not all super close. I've gotten closer with my parents as I've gotten older. To give you a little bit of insight into how my family functions, my mother upset me once, and then I told her I was upset, and a day later she said, "You're not over that yet." And that's how we communicate in my family. My mother's Middle Eastern, and I think that very much informs how she processes things. She in the way that she doesn't. Things happen, and then she'll have a moment where she reveals her true feelings, and then she'll be like, "Oh, actually, no, I'm fine." And so I was on a Google Hangout with my family the other day, and I got to talk to my sister. And there's like a thing that happened with my sister when I was younger that I haven't really, I guess, worked through. When I was younger, I was looking at a photo of, I guess, a female celebrity, and I thought I'd give the word tits a try. And so I was sitting with her and I said, wow, that celeb, let's say Julia Roberts. I don't know. Julia Roberts has great tits. And my sister just reprimanded the hell out of me and was basically like, that's a disgusting word. Don't say tits. And honestly, for maybe 25 years later, I never said the word tits. And even when I'm saying it now, it feels unnatural, you know? It's kind of like there's something in my brain that's like, with every, you know, mention of the word tits, you're just like sealing your fate in hell. And that's something that I think about every time I see my sister, is the word tits. But yeah, I don't know. I think like I do, you know, we've joked about how, you know, these virtual shows are not like performing in real life. And for me, that's especially true because I don't get to wear my Asics sneakers. My Asics are like an identity for me. I have horrible feet. It's something I talk very proudly about. I need a good arch support. And you can slide in my DMs about it. I am very pro arch support, and most shoes are made badly, but not my Asics. My Asics are amazing. And, you know, whenever I wear them, I feel like a hot mom in a chicken nugget commercial that says things like, my kids, they could eat. And so I really miss putting those on and getting to assume a completely different personality. And that is what performing provided me with. I guess I don't really have much else to go through. I also don't know how much time I have left. So I just want to say thank you to Pooja and Zubi for having me. And thank you all.
Woo! Thank you, Ilana.
Thanks.
Girl, I feel you. All this quarantine is making me go crazy, okay? Everyone's talked about quarantining, and I feel like we just all have too much time to think about. Like, we talked about this before we got on, and I was thinking about my appearance. Like, I don't know if anybody else is doing this, but like, I'm just looking at myself, and I'm just like, why do you have so much neck? Like, I've been thinking about it. I'm like, yo, for a fat girl, you got mad neck. Like, but yeah, thank you so much, Ilana. So funny. We have one last performer for you guys. I'm really excited to bring her up. She has been on Ecuador's Got Talent. I'm sorry, she's not a comedian. She is a singer. She was on Ecuador's Got Talent. She was a Golden Buzzer winner. And you can also stream her new song, Restless, on Spotify and any other streaming platform. So let's hear it for Alyson Cadena.
Woo! I'm going to woo myself. So first of all, thank you. And me and Pooja are I'm from the same area where he's running. We went to Fordham together, and I just met him like 2 months ago, but I already love him. If you know this area, you know that I particularly stick out like a white thumb. So, but thank you for having me, and I'm gonna just start with a cover, and yeah. When you need someone, I will be by your side. I'll take my chances before they pass me by. I see you go through the changes, sitting alone each night. Are you expecting to find the love that's right? Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You may never find a love that's right. Darling, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. Girl, you think you're so wise, you're so wise. There are times when you need someone, and I will be by your side. I'll take my chances before they pass me by. Oh, darling, there is a light that shines special for you and me. You need to look at the other side. You'll agree, baby, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You may never find a love that's right. Baby, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. Girl, you think you're so wise, you're so wise. Baby, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You may never find a love that's right. Baby, open your eyes. Let me show you the light. Girl, you think you're so wise. You may never find a love that's right. Whoa. Fade out, fade out, fade out. You got to be your own techie when we're in quarantine. So like I said, I'm from this neighborhood, so it's like such an honor to be with you guys and to support Mahfuzul. Like literally when I met him, he explained to me the whole process of like what an assemblyman does and like who even is our representative. And he just went through the whole thing, even talked me through getting my absentee ballot. So I'm super grateful for that because I think a lot of us don't really know how to get involved and how important it is to get involved. So the great AOC said on RuPaul's Drag Race that the stuff that gets to the top starts from the local governments and just making our voice heard locally. So I think it's super cool to have Mahfuzul, who is familiar with the area, who understands the culture, who understands the dynamics of our neighborhood and what's important to us. So this next song is my latest single, and as Zubi said, it's on all the things, the Spotify's, the Apple Music's, the titles. So if you like it, go stream it. And this is called Restless. Somehow my heart won't let it go. It's 3 a.m. and I'm in bed alone, replaying moments from so long ago to understand just where we went wrong. You left me restless, regretting everything I ever said, knowing I never meant it. Should have been honest, but I left you feeling disrespected. If they were my mistakes, why did I choose to be defensive? And and I was reckless, regretting all the ways I fucked it up. How could I mess this? I should have said I loved you from the moment that I felt it. But now it's way too late and I'm awake and lying helpless. How can I ever make this better? How can I bring you back to me? I'm trying hard to hold it all together, but I'm scared that will never be. You said that you got nothing left, that I broke you and you can't forget. But there's still that part of me that says I tempted. Should've been honest, but I left you feeling disrespected. If they were my mistakes, why did I choose to be defensive? And and I was reckless. Remembering all the ways I fucked it up, how could I mess this? I should have said I loved you from the moment that I felt it. But now it's way too late and I'm awake and lying helpless. And what can I do? I'm reaching for you. Forgive me, please, 'cause I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Can there be enough for you? For you. Remembering all the ways I fucked it up. How could I miss this? I should have said I loved you in the moment that I felt it. But now it's way too late. And now I'm awake. The things I should have, but then if I could have, would it even be enough?
Woo!
Thank
That was so incredible.
So good. Alyson, I've seen Alyson perform so many times already, like live and even in this streaming world. And still when she performs, I'm just like, oh my God, that's my friend. She's so good.
I had chills, man. I'm so impressed.
Thanks for
Guys.
guys.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you to all the comedians again. Please follow them on social media. Please follow everyone. Please listen to everyone's podcasts. They are all on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is that you can find. And make sure that you're donating to Mahfuzul's campaign and you're filling out your absentee ballots. All right.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You know, we're trying to lift up others' voices in our community. So if you see something that's happening that you want us to talk about or you want us to get behind, please just slide into our DMs. Like, we want to be there. We want to support you all. And one quick note, want to mention that the census is out, y'all. If you all have not filled up your census, if your parents have and if your families have and your extended family, please reach out to them and let them know to fill out their census ASAP online. And we want to close it out. We want to bring back the man of the hour, Mahfuzul Islam.
Woo!
Yeah.
Mahfuzul.
So
How you
good.
feeling?
So good. No, I'm just grateful. I mean, like I say this very politician-y thing, which is that politics is everything. But literally, this is a part of politics. You know, some jokes, beautiful voice. Like, this is community building. This is all part of what politics is. So I'm really grateful for you guys, and I love you guys again always.
Love you too, Mahfuzul. You got our support. Mahfuzul is such a sweetheart, and I can't imagine getting behind a better candidate for.
Yeah. Election is on June 23rd.
23rd.
Right.
June 23rd, June 16th is the last date for you to fill out your absentee ballot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mahfuzul, do you have any closing words or anything, or are we good to peace out now for the people?
Yeah, no, I hope we get to do more of these. This is actually not my first political comedy fundraiser on Zoom. This is normal now. And yeah, keep following us, keep following Kutti Gang, follow all the amazing comedians and Alyson, of course. And yeah, let me know how I can better serve you guys in the future.
Oh yeah.
Incredible. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please vote for Mahfuzul on June 23rd. Please fill out your census, fill out your absentee ballot form, and we will get you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Bye,
Bye.
Mahfuzul.